I'm I'm so thankful, first of all, because it has been a while since I've jumped on live, especially on YouTube. But I'm really, really thankful. It's like that weird part of the year where Christmas is done, the holidays are still in full season, the new year is right around the corner, and I think a lot of people are like, it's time to recap the whole year, what can I do better? And I totally feel that. I also spent some time to reflect on the wisdom that I've learned and what do I want to dedicate next year towards, what direction do I want to grow in, pretty much. As you know, I'm really thankful to be diving into a new healing modality, a philosophy called spiritual gardening. There hasn't been that much that I have found, but I'm hoping by continuing to dive and discover this healing philosophy and modality, more people will share the wisdom that they have learned, and I will be able to continue to grow in my understanding as I share this. But it's all been through natural observation of the world, what's going on, and, working as a gardener at a park, and just working at many different gardens and being blessed with playing with the plants. I am amazed at the wisdom that they have. Also, everything that I have built my foundation of the Good Vibes Delivery fam on, which is what this channel is all about, has been going through some deep transformations. I think a part of me is shedding. I guess the year of the snake is almost over, and I really do feel that layer shedding. This year has really forced me and pushed me to be honest with what direction I'm going in, and to be clear that you must make a sacrifice. Energy can't be destroyed or created. You can't hold on to everything in your space and want it to be clear. You have to let go. And of course, there's just been so many things, and I figured, why not go live and just yap? And after this, I'm gonna just share with you. I hope to make some more content for the week because we're playing around with that. But yes, spiritual gardening has been amazing. I feel super duper thankful to have facilitated 2 spiritual gardening workshops so far, and another one next month is coming up. Yes, what is good? Ryan Decker, what's good? So, it has been a crazy journey, and I'm really, really thankful for it. Uh, I'm, yeah, I encourage you to think, like, where are you currently, and where do you want to go? So, so much love, Brian. And happy birthday, Madison. Much love, much love. Okay, so here is the art form that is something I never expected to get into. As a kid, I was horrified of bugs. I did not like bugs because, they're kind of creepy, crawly. I remember once taking a cauliflower from the garden and there was a nest of earwigs in there, and that scared the living daylights out of me because by the time I realized there were earwigs, I was already inside the house and they had crawled up my arm to my neck. And of course, earwigs, they like dark, moist places. Your ear is one of them. Traumatized me as a child. So, yeah, I do believe in God, Loretta. I believe that there is God for me. My belief system is that God stands for the greatest of dimensions. And we live in a 3-dimensional world, but our spirit adds another dimension that could make it the 4th dimension. Each of our senses are tuned to a dimension, so there's 5 dimensions, but it just keeps going on, and it's kind of like infinite. So, not to go on a yap about God, but yeah, I would say, yeah, I believe that there's the greatest of all dimensions, and together they are one, and they are the creator. So yeah, I hated these creepy crawlers. Snakes were kind of cool. I was kind of cool with snakes, but I think it was one day, I was like probably 4 years ago, I was leaving class and I saw there was a dead moth on the ground. Actually, if I fast forward even more, I picked up the dead moth and I put it in my glasses case because I was wearing my glasses and it wouldn't get crushed. And anyways, I probably have them. So I think before that I saw a beautiful, like, oh my gosh, I'm the name is escaping me, but it was like the most beautiful like fly I've ever seen. And this is the moth, by the way, that I picked up from the ground 4 years ago. And I kept it in a container with all of the other dead bugs that I had found throughout my years until one day I decided to get resin. And I was like, I always wanted to draw them and I always wanted to look up closer and just like see what this little being that, like, bugs are scared. We're giant. And then I had the opportunity when I saw the perfectly preserved body of this bug right in front of me. I was like, oh snap. Oh snap. So yeah, I do enjoy them. This was a monarch butterfly that we took care of for about a month. But unfortunately, even though you're feeding them, it was getting cold. It did not live, and their wings were broken. So we found them dead one day, and I've encapsulated in resin. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with that. I've also been encapsulating different flowers. Flowers are fun. People like flowers more than bugs. But now I feel like I've reached a level where I'm no longer scared of them because they're just so tiny. And that is like they're so intricate. Like if a bug was the size of a horse, like taking this camel cricket, we would probably be horrified. Yes? No. Maybe so. But they're so small and there are so many. There are so many of them. So here in front of me I have 4, and yesterday I did the first layer pour for the smaller ones, and then this spotted lanternfly we're actually going to take out. Now I've been thinking about what to do with them because once you start seeing little bugs, you'll realize they're everywhere and there's so many different kinds. But more than that, they have their own way of communicating. We know about bees and the dance they do and the buzzing that they exude, but there's actually a lot more to that. Ooh, okay. Okay. So, I know I was gonna take that out, but I see that it's like a little sticky at the top, which means I didn't do the best job of curing, and I probably put like an uncured part and now it's in the middle. So we're just gonna seal that up before we take out the spotted lanternfly. But they're so cool, and I'm thinking of donating these to some educational environmental place so that they can be used. Yeah, have a great one, Ryan. Thank you for stopping by. I am really thankful that fear that I had as a kid of creepy crawly bugs has now turned into this odd understanding. And the medium was art. The medium was, how can I create something beautiful from it? And now there's a lot of things that beauty can do. One thing it can do to your brain is disengage it. I think that is a good word. And you look at brain rot and you look at, why do you stare at the pretty screen with the flashing cool colors? Oh, what is good, Selena? Good to see you. Much love. And you'll realize that beauty is this hypnotizing thing. They said that Satan was the most beautiful angel. And isn't it ironic? That's the one that we're supposed to be most wary of. And then I think of what art is. I don't think art is beautiful. I don't think that personally for me, I do not make art because I want it to be beautiful. As a designer, I want things to be beautiful. So I would say we have a weird existing law. Immediately I'm thinking law of one. But yes, okay. So we have, as a designer, your job is to make things beautiful, functional. You're designing a harmonious layout. As an artist, you throw those things out the window. You may have the understanding of design, of color, of different laws. But an artist may have an understanding of these laws, and still their understanding of those laws, the main intention is so that they can break it. And I think the world needs more artists. I never really considered myself an artist until maybe I started painting my nails back when I was like 9. Before then, I was like, my brother's the artist because he can draw really cool characters and like dragons and stuff, and like they're proportionate. And so when I started painting on my nails, for me that was like and I was obsessed with making my own makeup as well. I would mix coconut oil with crayons or Vaseline so that I could smear it on my lips and face and stuff as a kid. I was, dear God, if I have a child like my own, it's going to be a battle of patience. That's for sure. But anyways, art requires a lot of patience because there are times you don't know what you're doing. And in those times, you have to allow yourself to trust the process. That God gave you a vision for a reason. All right. And we have to adhere to that reason. So I see that I've added like 10 millimeters too much of the hardener agent. So I'm going to have to add 10 millimeters of the resin to get there. We're going to try to keep it as precise as possible. Okay. So I've loved art. Started painting my nails. I was homeschooled, and then I remember taking my first studio art class, and it was amazing. It was amazing. We'll see how this goes, because really adding this straight into B, it could be interesting. And I think the classes I enjoyed most were studio art and earth science. Earth science because I was homeschooled, so some kids in middle school had the option to do earth science in 8th grade. I obviously did not have that option, and I did it with everyone else. And there was a lot of copying going on, and I was not familiar with this because our books usually had the answers in the back of them. Like, the answer key was literally in the back of them. That's where my mom would correct it. There were 5 of us, and she would correct about 6 to 7 textbooks each for each person, each grade. And I thought to myself, that's it's pretty good. Now, when I went into high school, the teacher just told us the answers and would give us paper with them on and say, write it down. And then we'd talk about it. We'd do some practice questions. And then, when the test came around, it was going to be kind of like the practice questions and what the instructor said. Oh, what's good, James? What's good? James is a classic name. So I remember during the midterm in earth science, I finished that real fast. I loved earth science. It was really fun. And the kids all copied me. Like, I remember I was dyslexic, and I wrote my L backwards, and somebody wrote their L backwards. Maybe they thought it was a cool, fancy character. maybe they just didn't know my lefts from rights. Like somebody's saying, oh, you know, L, it makes an L. Well, to me, they both look like L. They both look like L. But yeah, it was a fun time. I finished the test, I handed it in, and then I took a blank test and I went back to my desk. So it almost looked like I walked up there and I wasn't sure and I went back. And then I filled out another test, this time with all the wrong answers. And this time, when people asked what the answer was, or I peeked over to see what the answer was, they would put down the wrong thing. So I filled out every single question wrong on purpose, speed ran it. One of the questions I remember was, why does the moon go around the earth? And I said, because the sun is bright. Can you believe somebody actually put that down on their test? What a time, what a time. So anyways, art is fun. Can you copy people in art? Well, if you do, it's pretty obvious. That's why we don't like ChatGPT and artists is like, it's one thing to copy to learn, it's another thing to copy to sell. You know, you can copy the masters to understand and learn their ways, but once you start to sell it, it becomes a problem. So right now, I'm not going to dive too deeply into the world of AI and art because an artist's job is to learn the rules of the art that they choose to make so that they can break them in a way that creates a beauty that is in the eye of the beholder. So really is for them or God, you know, as they choose to see fit for their piece of work. I'm an artist. I'm an artist. I think the world needs more artists. I almost didn't want to say I'm an artist. Yeah, I just do artsy stuff all the time. And I love it. I love it. But I don't want to be an artist as a job. And I think for most people that do art, if you're a musician or a singer or some kind of creative in any way, I think someone who creates a game is an artist because, I mean, obviously you have artists that are rendering the visual part of the game, but then you have musicians for the songs, and then you have people that are fabricating the rules of the game itself to create this deeper storytellers. There's so many pieces that can be considered art, and I believe every single person has their own unique form of it. All right, I've probably been stirring this for 5 minutes. After the 5-minute mark, it's probably gonna bubble up a little bit and it will get warm, but we're at the perfect temperature. I learned that the hard way. But yes, art is a beautiful thing, and I feel really, really thankful that I found it. Looking in the most particular places. Like, who would have thought I would see a dead bug one day and just want to preserve its beauty? And of course, that has expanded. This is actually a rose from a bouquet that I caught. And shortly after that, I got engaged. And I think that's pretty beautiful. And I was able to give the couple who had just gotten engaged, and it was their bouquet, one of the roses. And I thought that was such a blessing to be able to share that. I have some flowers from my cousin's memorial, and that's another thing I feel so excited to encapsulate. Now, to be honest, sometimes I feel sad that things have to change. And I guess what I mean by that is that art also changes. What people perceive as art or valuable, it changes. I think art is a form of processing grief in a way. I would say when you are processing emotion, art is an excellent form for you to find solace. Hello, how are you? So, whatever form of art you find yourself doing, I hope that it helps you cultivate a deeper sense of purpose in your life. Because it isn't about getting paid at the end of the day, it's about creating something meaningful, even if it's just meaningful for you. Now, there's one thing about art that I've learned this year, and this is something I'm actually pretty excited for the spiritual gardening pruning workshop to go over, because like a tree, sometimes you have branches that are just dead. They're just not going to bear fruit as much as you would want them to. Their time is done, yet they're still holding on to you, wasting your energy to keep them up. And you need to cut those off. And so then you have this period of grieving. And I think this is connected again to why making art is so important. Like, what do you do with those fallen branches? Now, the potential can kill you because you're never able to fully let go. And you're like, it's like a dangling branch. For me, I realized that I have like a little bit of ADHD, and this looks like I collect clutter sometimes. I have a junk journal. Now, I've been realizing I have to go to my junk journal and like actively scrapbook every week if I want to, or, you know, keep it as minimal as possible in terms of the clutter and keep it in control. So honestly, by clearing out the clutter, I was able to access my resin, and I'm super duper thankful about that, because how else could I finish these beautiful pieces? And I have so many beautiful pieces that I look forward to creating and giving, because it's a lovely way. So one bucket list that I have is I want to make music. For some of you who may have subscribed for a while now, about 2 years ago, I used to share a freestyle, like 1-minute rap video every Friday, and I'd call it Freestyle Fridays. And that was really fun. And all of those songs were created because I just wanted to like rant about life. And it was such a beautiful form of therapy. I used to use this app called Voicey. Voicey no longer exists because Snapchat bought it. And I hope that they actually use that software and do something productive for once instead of selling everyone's data. But anyways, I really think that whatever your art form is, and I realize for myself, I have a lot. And there can be clutter when you have a lot and you see the potential that you can do a lot. But unless you cut back some of those branches, you'll never be able to achieve what's worth achieving. I hope that makes sense. Because I'm talking to you for a very specific reason, and I don't even know the reason, if we're being 100% honest. Now is the time that I'm gonna have to see if I can get the next piece of these, and all are done. They're full. We're gonna put them to the side. And I'm going to continue. So much love, Andy. I pray that you can enjoy your day, beautiful souls. And if you want to join the spiritual gardening pruning workshop or get the free workbook, which is pretty fun, it's just 12 pages and it goes over the first ever spiritual gardening workshop that I did, which was Weeding Your Creative Mind, please feel free to let me know. You can comment below, comment guide, I'll know, or subscribe, and I will be continuing to share. And I hope to see you in the next one. I still have some more to do, but I gotta get from under you. So I'll see you later. Godspeed and namaste.